Now, what did I say we were going to open up the episode with? Alzheimer's? I had this really great intro all set to go, and poof, gone. It's just been that kind of week.
Well, can you sell us on how good it was?
Sell you?
Yeah, I want you to.
Aren't I?
I'm sitting back here as one of the audience members, and I need you to sell me on how good it was, even though you can't remember what the hell it was.
Well, if I can't remember what the hell it was, how can I sell you on it?
The sizzle. Don't sell me the steak. Sell me the sizzle.
I don't know how many times I've told you this, John. I am a marketer, not a salesperson.
Everybody's a salesperson.
No, because I can't close the deal because I always forget my story.
Well, maybe people will buy from you because they feel sorry for you.
That's how I've made it so long in the car business.
It's working.
It is. It works very, very well. And that's why I never want to leave, because it's the only place I can sell like that.
I'm surprised on your business card it says Nick Sad Sack Cubic. Because people go, I know that Sad Sack guy.
So do you have your dinger? Because I'm about to use a brand name.
Yes,
all right, get your dinger out. So I don't carry business cards anymore. I carry a link. LINQ. A link.
And what is that?
I don't happen to have it with me. It's down in my wallet, but it's a card that I ordered. The card was $10. It was the cheap one. It was a bamboo. It's bamboo. It's really cool. It says link in the corner, and it has a QR code on the backside. Okay. But you can tap it on any phone, an iPhone, an Android phone, and it automatically puts your contact information in the phone.
How cool is that?
Yeah. So I could change it to say Sad Sack, because you can have multiple profiles as well.
I used to carry business cards with me just because I liked my title. Mm-hmm. I added the title of my own volition.
Nice.
Digital Fireman.
Oh, I love that. That's crazy.
And so I still have some of those cards hanging around someplace.
That's crazy.
It was the one title I can hang on to the whole time. Digital Fireman.
I really like that. Especially coming from a long line of firefighters in my family.
Yes, exactly.
Because that's really what most of my cousins and my dad, and even a couple of my stepmoms, I'm sure, I know one of them for sure, were firefighters, and I didn't follow in their footsteps. No. I went into digital marketing, so I can be a digital firefighter. I'm stealing that. That's going to be like my third or fourth profile on my link card. I love it.
And it rings true because my dad was a firefighter, volunteer fireman. He was the fire chief for a while at this little volunteer place. And that is where I saw the moon landing in 1969 at the fire station in my hometown. Yeah, it was very cool. And with my dad, and we watched it on some black and white TV on top of a refrigerator.
Nice.
So yeah, it was pretty cool.
I love those
connection.
Those stories are always just fascinating to me. One of my mom's favorite stories, the very first fire station my dad was stationed at was, I can't remember if it was station 1 or station 2, but it was downtown Minneapolis, right around the corner from the Gay 90s, which is one of the oldest gay bars in Minneapolis. Okay. It's still there to this day. And after most of the firefighters got off duty, they would go to the Gay 90s, and just because it was a fantastic. It was called the Gay 90s. It was a bar for gay people, but they didn't discriminate from anyone. So you could go there.
Gay people and people in their 90s.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's probably where it started. But it just kind of morphed over time, but it's been there. So that was way back in the late 60s, early 70s, and it's still there today. The fire station isn't. That's been converted into something else, and they have I think it's actually a police station now, if I remember correctly. Oh, cool. But great. I got to spend time there. I got to sleep at the fire station and slide down the pole, and they had a pool table. It's where I learned how to play pool in the basement. That was at an angle. So you had to learn you could really curve the ball really, really well just by hitting it straight. It was fantastic.
That's like one of the villains in Batman. Remember they always used to do the camera shots with the floor at an angle?
Yeah.
The camera was at an angle.
That's called the Batman angle.
And I thought when I was a kid that all the villains lived in slanty.
That's awesome.
That's terrible. How do
That's
they have to walk faster as they get toward the door? And
that's incredible. Yeah, that I have memories of things like I can't remember them, obviously, because I can't remember jack shit, but I'm sure I do have those memories tucked away somewhere. I'll
yes.
dream about them tonight. Maybe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. But my favorite time spent at that particular fire station, I remember going up on the roof with several of the other firefighters.
Mhm.
And in the summer, they would take lawn chairs. They'd open up the doors in the front and they'd take lawn chairs on the weekend and they just sit out front and people watch because that's where all the bars and stuff were.
Sure.
And obviously earlier on in the night, they're not getting many calls. It's, much later.
Hmm.
And my dad was down sitting in the front on one of the lawn chairs. He hadn't gone out there yet, but a whole bunch of other people were. So the guys on the roof were dropping water balloons or pouring buckets of water down on people. My dad walks out and I'm like, oh, get a bucket of water. Let's do it. And all the guys are like, nuh-uh, nope, not going to do it. Because my dad was the captain. And you don't piss off the captain.
No,
I was trying. I was like 10 years old. I was trying so hard to talk him into just dropping a bucket of water on my dad, and they wouldn't do it.
No way.
No way. Not the captain. Mm-mm. My dad is not in any way a mean guy. In any way, he does not have a mean bone in his body. Not even to
the captain.
But he's the captain. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And which is weird because I remember. One time Captain Kangaroo came to the station
nice.
My dad was at. They wouldn't throw anything at him either.
You didn't stop you.
Mr. Green Jeans,
tomatoes,
Mr. Green Jeans was there. They would have whipped a couple of. You don't even know who I'm talking about.
Not one bit.
That was one of those shows when I was growing up. And that was the morning show was Captain Kangaroo. And it was.
Well, I know who Captain Kangaroo is.
Yeah. But the characters on the show with him were Mr. Green Jeans, who was kind of a green thumb farmer wearing, denim. And
see, I hear that, and all I think is the Red Green Show.
Oh, okay.
That show on PBS.
Different. Sure, that's different.
A little bit. Not much. Come on.
Sure. Bunny Rabbit was on Captain Kangaroo. It was a hand puppet.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he'd get your attention, they would slam his face on the counter with his nose. Yeah, apparently that's, oh yeah, Bunny's really, no.
That's how you get. So I went for a walk this morning.
You did? On purpose?
Yeah. Yes.
Car ran out of gas?
No, I got up. I couldn't sleep. I woke up at about 3:45 and just could not fall asleep. So about 5:30, I'm like, okay, it's just not going to happen. So I got up and I took my male dog, Clyde, for a walk, which we don't take our dogs for a walk very often because they're assholes. And so, I went for a walk this morning and he was actually fairly good. When they walk by themselves, like they're not together, they're pretty good. But there were some rabbits playing in one of my neighbor's yards. And I was the asshole. I made him sit and watch. Part of it, I'm trying to train him, but it was I was giggling, and then I told Peyton about it, and she, of course, was, you didn't let him chase him? That's horrible. I mean, it's great because I don't want to chase bunnies, but that's horrible. Yeah, because I made him sit, and he was just looking at me. I'm like, nope.
5:30 in the morning, though. You really don't want him barking.
Yeah,
going
right.
After
other
wildlife.
I'm wild enough for him.
For sure, and I'm sure that his leash. So, is he good on a leash?
No, he's horrible.
Have you ever tried I may have asked you this before. Have you ever tried a harness with him?
That's what he was wearing.
Oh, he's on a harness, and he's bad on it.
Oh, gosh, horrible.
That made all the difference in the world for our dog.
Yeah, we've tried I've even tried. I hate them, but I even tried a choke chain.
Yeah. They have training collars that we used to use with our Weimaraner because he was big, and and it's not sharp or anything, but it pokes into the neck and gets their attention.
Yeah. I don't
And,
have that kind of choke chain. It's
that.
literally just a
No, I
chain.
know what you mean. It just cinches up on his neck.
Yeah.
I understand. But how is, so if you've said that before, that when they're together, they're not always well behaved. How is,
they live up to their names?
Well, how is Bonnie when she's alone?
She's the same. She's much actually even better. She'll walk. She gets a little excited, but her thing is, for example, the last time I took her for a walk, I let her out in the backyard. She did her business. She peed, she pooped, she did everything, right? We didn't even come back into the house. I put the harness on her. I start walking, and I didn't take a bag with me because she already did her business. Wasn't even 5 minutes into the walk, right in the middle of the road. Big, massive deuce. I'm like, anyone that's looking, if you can see me, I'll be back to pick that up. Sorry. So we had to do, we did the circle twice so I could go pick the rest of that up.
That's a dog owner thing, though, and you get that. It makes me angry, and I'm sure it does you too, when you watch people who let their dogs just do that and don't even bother picking it up.
Oh, yeah. So I've got a guy in my neighborhood. Hopefully he's not a listener. He might be listening to me through the windows because he's very, very close. He's on the corner. He's one house away.
Okay.
He lets his dogs out in the morning, and he'll go stand in his front yard. He's got a backyard. Stand in his front yard, let the dog off the leash, and then watch the dog cross my neighbor's lawn and then come into our lawn and do his business. Won't clean it up.
Oh, that's rude.
It's so, and the worst part, okay, if we didn't see it or if we saw when we were walking around, that would be one thing. We will be pulling out of the house and almost hitting his dog because it's in the driveway. And he just stands there. And then we'll wave and he'll be like,
what is he thinking?
I don't know.
You know,
well, he's a dickhead. He just had a quadruple bypass surgery, so I shouldn't be too hard on him.
As Nick takes a sip of his cocktail. So what are you having? It
is a Manhattan kind of night.
Manhattan, but it's not a regular Manhattan.
No. I'm gonna get some hate mail, I'm sure, from this one because we were talking about this earlier. Hayden mail, exactly. So I ran out of sweet vermouth, but I did have some Dubonnet because I wanted to. I read an article about the Queen. I really enjoy the royal family, just the stories and stuff and the history of it because I find it fascinating. And the Queen's favorite drink, I think we talked about this on a past episode. We haven't said that in a really long time. Is gin and Dubonnet.
Okay.
And so I was fascinated by that. I like gin. And so I went and I bought a bottle of Dubonnet and tried gin and Dubonnet. Not a bad drink. Great summer drink. Very, very light and crisp. So I did a little bit more research after the fact, which is weird for me. I usually do it beforehand about Dubonnet. And it turns out Dubonnet is a variation of a sweet vermouth. It is a aperitif wine.
Okay.
So I ran out of sweet vermouth and I really wanted a Manhattan because the other day, Cinco de Mayo, I went to the liquor store. I had to buy some tequila. It was Cinco de Mayo.
Sure.
Exactly.
It's the law.
It is the law. And I'm not about to break the law.
No.
But I also had to buy some margarita mix. And next to the margarita mix happened to be this really attractive jar of bourbon soaked cherries. And we've had the conversation before that I always forget to get cherries to put in my Manhattans.
Oh, okay.
So I went and I bought that bottle, and it's been sitting in the fridge now for several days. Because
is it like a jar? I mean, like
it's a jar. Yeah, it's a jar. It's like a pickle jar.
Yeah. Okay.
And it has nice. You can see here. I'll show you my cherry because it's in here.
Brought it with you. Oh, there it is. That's beautiful.
My cherry. Yeah. So anyway, I don't usually drink during the week. I usually reserve my cocktails for the end of the week because that's that's relaxed time.
Sure.
So I've had it in the fridge for several days, just kind of looking forward to that really good Manhattan. So when we were talking about doing the podcast today, I said to myself, I'm going to make myself a Manhattan because I wanted to do a happy hour, but John decided not to tell me until after I made my cocktail that he didn't want to do happy hour. So I'm drinking by myself, guys.
It's
all by myself.
noon. No one knows that
It
it's really
is
noon.
It's not noon. I think people can see by how dark it is. I've got my light up here so you can kind of see.
Yeah,
It's
I'm in
not.
the
It's definitely
dungeon,
not
so it's
noon. Yeah,
always dark
always
here.
dark. We call our extra bonus room the hole. Anyway, so
That's what this.
they've been sitting there. They've been calling my name, and then when I went to make my drink today, I realized I didn't get any more sweet vermouth
Damn
because
it.
I'm out. Yeah. So I use Dubonnet because it's basically a sweet vermouth, and it's not. I mean, it's not horrible. It's still got a good flavor. But the other part is I decided because I bought a bottle of Basil Hayden's, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I
But
hope you're not hating it.
I am kind of hating it. I'm not gonna lie. People have recommended it,
Sure.
and I decided I'm just gonna give it a shot. And I actually, when I was looking for some Buffalo Trace because I have a lot of Buffalo Trace flavored things, but I've never actually had a bottle of Buffalo
Okay. Our
Trace.
friend Eric is a big fan.
Huge, and so is our friend
yeah.
Amy. Amy loves
Yeah.
Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
So that's what I was looking for, but I didn't want to buy actually, they didn't even have a full bottle of Buffalo Trace when I went to the liquor store. So they had a sample bottle.
Wait. So they had one. Was it sitting by the cash register that the guy was pulling on? That
Yeah, right.
we don't have a full one.
Exactly. No, they didn't have any Buffalo Trace at the liquor store.
All right.
And so I gave my neighbor hell because he services that. He's a liquor distributor and he services that particular liquor store after the fact. But anyway, they had the Basil Hayden sitting there as not like a little bitty sample bottle, but like a half bottle. It could be a pint. I don't know the measurements very well.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, that's another one people have recommended quite often. I'm going to give it a shot. Why not? I tried it straight, tried it neat, tried it on the rocks. Not a fan. So I thought, I'm going to try it in my Manhattan. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say I'm trying it with Dubonnet, so I don't know if it's going to be any different, but I did try it in this, and it's not bad. I would drink this if it was the only thing available, but there are better ryes and better whiskeys to put in your Manhattan.
Sure.
So that's probably where I'm going to get the hate mail from. So it is a Dubonnet, Basil Hayden's Manhattan with my cherry that I've been waiting all week to drink.
It looks like a Diet Coke.
It does kind of. Yes, that's just because it's so damn hot in my office that my glass is sweating.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Sweaty glasses are great. I love
as long as I'm not sweaty
like that. We're not going to. Jury is still out on that. By the way,
stop sweating. See.
By the way, I can't see if you have pits or not. I don't want to see. Don't tell me. After talking with your dog Clyde, actually he had something in common with your drink. Because this morning when you had him at the neighbors, all he wanted to do was do the bonnet.
Wow. Even though they're brother and sister, that's horrible.
That was good. That was really good. No, he doesn't want to do Bonnie. He wants to do the bunny.
Oh, the bunny. Oh, see. Okay, so for those of you who are new,
Daddy, I want to do bonnet. I want to do bonnet.
That's pretty close.
That's pretty damn close.
That's pretty close. That is.
I know how he sounds.
So do you do that with Indy? Do you have conversations?
Yes.
It's my wife even stopped us the other day and I was like, why? She said, why do we even do this? You are doing Clyde's voice and I'm talking to Clyde.
Let's face it, it's the only way you two talk anymore.
Sometimes, yeah.
Do the dog voice. Do the dog voice.
Speaking of, so
yes.
We had discussed earlier, I was going to tell you the story. For any of you that follow me, follow PoddiMouths or Eat Drink Road, you may have noticed we also follow my wife's dance studio, which we posted some stuff yesterday.
And what is the Instagram handle?
Bellpack. It's just Bellpack. BELLEPAC. Okay. Bellpack.
At Bellpack.
It's at Bellpack or hashtag Bellpack because we also hashtag Bellpack all the time.
Awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, we decided this summer, yesterday was the first day, to sponsor our local farmers market. And part of the sponsorship allows us to have a little tent set up. So
Mhm.
it's a 10 by 10 tent where we can set up and give away stuff and
And the farmer or the people who have the market selling the goods and so on, they
yep.
also are intent
Yep,
in
they're
the
all
little
around us. Yeah.
pop
Yeah,
up things.
so
Yeah, yeah.
we're
Cool.
in the middle of everything
Yep.
and it's a premier spot because we're the one of the premier sponsors.
Cool.
And it gives us access to the stage because there's a stage right there as well. And
Mhm.
and it's just a really neat concept. And there's a lot of food trucks and it's just a very busy part of our little community and it's always very well received. So yesterday was the very first day and it starts at 4 and goes until 7, but Jen was there at 2 to set everything up.
Mhm.
We just bought a 10 by 10 pop-up tent for her
Mhm.
and we set it up in the yard that afternoon just to make sure she could do it by herself because I had to work, so I wasn't able
Mhm.
to get there. She got all the stuff. We got some pamphlets. We actually got some really cool water bottles, which I wish I had one up here to show you. We made a mistake on the water bottles that made the water bottles look even better than what we had envisioned. Like
Okay.
we meant to put the logo is 2-color.
Uh-huh.
Meant to put the 2-color logo on there, but they didn't do the 2 colors. So it was a black matte on the outside, and then they cut the logo out in silver.
Oh,
So it looks, I mean, it's gorgeous.
awesome.
I don't even want the colored logo on there because it's so cool. Anyway, so she had all of that set up out there and she took a picture and we posted it and everything was going really, really
I saw it
well
look great.
until the thunderstorms rolled in
Oh, yes. Yeah.
at about
Always
6
on
o'clock.
farmer market night.
Always
Farmers
on
market night. Yeah,
Yep. I got a frantic text. I need help and get here because we're 10 minutes away.
sure.
Peyton and I get in the car and we race. And we get there and Jen's already packed everything up. She had a lot of help. But I guess what had something happened was it hadn't started raining yet. And the organizer came around and said, I think we're gonna call it because there's a storm coming. And Jen's like, okay. She picked one thing up, put it in the car, went back, and then all of a sudden the wind picked up and lifted the tent up.
Oh,
And so there were people on all 4 posts holding it
oh my
down.
gosh.
Yeah, and things were flying and bending and we might have to get a new tent now. I don't know. I haven't checked it yet.
Wow.
Even though it's brand new, literally
Yeah.
brand new out of the box the
Mhm.
same day that we actually put it at the
Of
farmer's
course.
market.
Of course.
Of course, I didn't buy the warranty because I'm a cheap
Ah,
ass. It's a
yeah.
tent.
That's
I
how I
mean, what the
roll
hell?
too.
Yeah. That's probably God saying, you should have bought the
Should
warranty.
have bought the warranty. Well, but I think he also knows that you're intense. So
Oh, geez.
what?
What, geez.
Just okay, continue.
Anyway, so no,
the tent
I even said to Jen, I said, do you want, because it came with, and one of the reasons we chose the one we did, it actually came with sandbags, but they were empty sandbags. So they needed to be filled. And I asked
Sure.
Jen, do you want me to fill these before you go? And she's like, oh no, we won't need them today. I'm sure it'll be fine. So the very first thing I said, of course, after, not during, because that would have been a little more stressful,
Yeah.
was afterwards I said, guess I should have filled the sandbags, huh? Yeah. I still got in trouble for that.
Okay,
But
here's what you should have said. You
Mhm.
should have gotten there, and all the people that were holding on to the legs, you should have said, you could be replaced by a bag of sand.
Yes. Yes. I could have.
Would have been
But
terrible.
pretty much everybody was wrapped up and we tried to
Well.
help one farmer his tent was majorly bent. And he actually had to just leave it there and leave
Oh.
and come back and get it because it was, I mean, it was balled up. It was bad.
Oh no.
It
That's
was
too
very,
bad.
very bad. So it was a fun experience, but a horrible experience all at once.
Hmm.
That's
Well,
my story.
but did you get a chance? Because I mean, you're close to the stage. Did you sing any karaoke?
I didn't because I didn't go.
Oh.
It
You
was
went there later to save her. I'm sure the stage
well, yeah,
was
but
empty.
the stage was very empty. It was very
See?
wet as well. Yeah.
So I you would have been fine probably.
It'd be fine. It's
You
fine.
know the words to Dunkashane, don't you? Dunkashane.
I know Dunkashane. That's about
Darling Dunkashane.
it. See,
well,
you
yeah,
know,
you're
I
German.
should. I'm not.
You're not, but you play a German.
I do play a
Your
German. I
family
did stay at
is.
a Holiday Inn Express last night.
You have relatives in Milwaukee, maybe.
Well, yes.
I knew it.
Do you really want to go down that road? Because
Nope.
I do have my ancestry.com DNA origins right there.
Wow.
Oh, it
It's like
switched.
Wisconsin.
It is early Wisconsin settlers. See that?
Yeah, early Wisconsin settlers. There are no such thing as late Wisconsin settlers.
Well, didn't you settle late?
No.
But can you see? There we go. So
Let's see here.
45% Eastern European,
Yep,
Russia, which
yep,
is Poland.
yep.
It was actually Poland. Eastern, what is it? European Jewish? Because
Well,
I'm reading
European
backwards now.
Jewish and Germanic Europe
Yeah, but only
and
14% Germanic Europe.
whatever. What do you want? Your money back?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
100%.
Your Deutschmarks.
But I didn't know until recently, and you
Yes.
probably did because you're a smart man, that
Mm.
Holland, because I always thought Holland was considered Germanic. It's actually considered Nordic.
Yeah. So it's not Holland is not considered one of the I don't think you would call it the oh gosh, what are they? Scandinavia. It's not
Scandinavian.
part of Scandinavia, but
No.
I don't think.
I don't
think
either.
that yeah.
I always thought it was. Well, I mean, it's its own obviously independent company or
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Dutch East India Company when I was saying
Yeah,
that
of
at the
course.
same
Of
time.
course.
No, it's its own country, but I recently read that it is considered the people of the Netherlands are considered
Nordic.
Scandinavian.
Sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, and that doesn't surprise me too much. So that's one of the places I've been in Europe, and we did Germany, Switzerland. Oh, Switzerland! If you ever get a chance,
Oh, that's on my bucket list.
incredible. Germany, Switzerland, Denmark, and Norway, and we crossed on a kind of a hinky cruise ship crossing is it the North Sea? I'm not sure exactly without looking at a map. It's been many years ago, but over to Kristiansand, Norway, and that was the crossover. But we came from Denmark, and that whole area, I just get the sense that it is Nordic sort of, and even listening to people speak. There's a lot of the they inhale when they say and they don't not as much in Germany. It's a lot more guttural. And they, I don't know. There's a funny YouTube video that compares several of the languages of especially European languages. And, you hear people speaking French and it's just a wonderful, he's having a drink off to the side. Drink it. People know you're drinking again.
When am I not? I mean, really?
Kidding. Yeah, during the week. But there are people who are speaking in this YouTube video, and it's the French have this wonderful accent, and then you go to someone in Switzerland, and it's also but the German person is Rucken Viken Woken, and it's really a guttural sound. It's much funnier than what I'm making it sound. So
we'll I'm sure
play it at some point. But YouTube is where it's quite funny.
YouTube is a wonderful place.
You know what? It is. I
read an article
getting
today.
too political because we've done it before. I think it's dangerous when
everything
social media.
Is dangerous.
Well,
everything is dangerous
to do. When they're starting to censor things in people, and
that is dangerous, no matter what.
But it's happening. So
it is. It is.
Aside from that, I think I love YouTube, and I love going there to see. There's some really good content, and you and I have talked about it many times, but we watch and subscribe to some of the dumbest stuff.
Oh, we really do.
But it's so entertaining.
It is so entertaining. And speaking of, and this one, I don't want to call this one dumb because this is probably one of my favorites.
Yep.
We've talked about Kara and Nate before.
Yes. And I've started to follow them, and
they're phenomenal.
They're just the nicest. She is so okay. So here's the thing. First of all, their teeth are weirdly white.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Both of them have perfect teeth.
Well, no, he's kind of he can eat sweet corn through a picket fence.
Wow. Wow.
Well, he could. He kinda has a little bit of an overbite, but they are the nicest people, or at least I get the sense
Yeah.
of that. I
They're from
love
Tennessee, by the way. They're from Nashville.
they went to the largest truck stop in the world. Did you see that one?
Yeah, Buc-ee's, yeah.
Buc-ee's in Texas or something.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to I talked to it 'cause, you all know that I've changed jobs now, and part of my
Yeah.
area includes Texas,
Oh, cool.
and I'm going down to Houston in the next week or so, in
Okay.
actually 2 weeks,
Yep.
and that even the dealer down there was talking about getting something at Buc-ee's, and I said, "I've been all over Texas. I've never been to Houston. I've never been to Buc-ee's. So, I guess we're gonna be having our meeting at Buc-ee's."
That's awesome. Are you really? That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
like,
Well, the
most likely.
funniest part about the Nate and Kara video is that Nate bought a Bucky's outfit. It's like
Yes,
a
he did. He still wears
squirrel or
it.
beaver or something.
Yeah, beaver.
He'll and
Bucket of
just
beaver.
he will wake up early. Kara's still asleep, and they're in their motorhome thing, and he'll just randomly wearing this Bucky the Beaver outfit, and it's hilarious. And he
Oh,
doesn't
it
even
is.
refer to it. You just see him with it. It's got a tail and a
Yep,
hood with ears, and oh my gosh, it's
yep.
yeah. So I'm
So,
entertained by those guys. I haven't watched a lot of their videos,
now
but
that's
some.
funny, but something that they've really keyed up for a lot of people, and including myself, and Jen and I
Mhm.
actually had to cyber stalk them to find out where they wear these sweatshirts. You know, Nate's green sweatshirt that he wears all the time?
Probably seen it, but okay,
You've
didn't
you've probably
register.
seen it a million times because it's almost
Sure.
in every single video. He wears it all the time.
Okay.
It's a really cool looking sweatshirt, and we looked it up, and finally they told us where they got it. This company is so popular that you actually have to enter a lottery to be able to buy the sweatshirt for
What?
$75.
What?
Yes. So, you have to enter, constantly to be able to try to get into because they do like a lottery a quarter if they're producing that particular. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow. Talk about
Yeah.
managing supply and demand, huh?
Right? Exactly, and people are willing to pay, and people are going nuts over these sweatshirts.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, but anyway, Kara and Nate, I don't remember where I was going with that story. Oh, I remember. Okay, so my dad lives now in North Dakota. He's
Yep,
retired. He lives over by Medora, and I had asked him the other day because on Kara and Nate's channel they were in South Dakota,
right.
and they decided to detour instead of going to North Dakota to come home so they could get their first COVID shot.
Yep.
And so they skipped North Dakota, but at the end of the video, he said that was really lucky because there is I guess a group of people or not an award,
Yep.
but
No,
a
no.
status.
It's a status group of people. That's correct.
Yeah, it's a status
Yep,
group of people
yep.
that they call themselves the
The
best for
f
last.
That's exactly right. Very good.
Yep, the
I
best
couldn't
for
remember
last.
what it was.
Because if you visit all 49 states
Yep.
and you visit North Dakota as your last state, you become one of what I think it was 4,000 people.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, one of
Yep.
4,000 people or so that actually visited North Dakota very last after visiting
Yes.
all of the other 49 states. And you get put on a plaque and you
Yeah,
get a little award, and it's this whole big thing.
I
And I asked
saw
my
that.
dad if he'd ever heard of that, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
no, not at all." I mean,
Well, he lives
I have
there. What does he
well, he
care?
lives there and he hasn't visited 49 states before he moved there, so and neither
I
have
just
I.
have Alaska left to go.
Do you really?
Yep. That's my only
Oh.
state that I
We should
and I
we should do one of those maps on Facebook because I don't remember what I have
oh,
left.
I think I've done in fact, I'm sure I did one years ago, but yeah, all I have is Alaska. But I'd kind of like to do a Harley ride up there, but I don't know. It's a long, and you got to pick the right time of the year,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I have a step brother-in-law who he and his son, who's my nephew, he's actually a year older than I am.
mhm.
They took an old convertible LeBaron and drove from Seattle all the way up to Alaska.
Wow,
Yeah, in the
that would
convertible
not be my
LeBaron.
first choice of
No, no, no,
vehicles.
no. Yeah, that's why that particular part stands out to me. I don't remember any of the other stories, but I do
Yeah,
remember that because my nephew Paul always was saying, "Yeah, and it was in a convertible LeBaron."
Well, it adds to the story. I'll give him
It does
credit
add
for
to the
that.
story.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So speaking of adding to a story, we're
Yeah.
going to, and people are, as I understand, taking their stimulus checks and going to
Mhm.
Vegas now. Vegas is pretty
Hmm.
busy,
Okay.
and they have a nickname for these people. They're called stimmies
Interesting.
because
Very
they're taking their
interesting.
stimulus checks. This is just hearsay. And so, but we're actually planning to go out there because we have a free friend's boss
You
let
have
us
a
use.
friend that's free? That's nice.
He's cheap, not free.
He's cheap.
A
Oh,
free condo to stay at for
nice.
5 nights or whatever. So
Hmm.
sort of nice, but then still paying to fly and
Yeah.
renting
But Vegas
Harleys
is
and
usually
paying for that
cheap.
and
Oh,
so
you're
on.
renting Harleys.
Yeah, which is not cheap.
No.
I even belong to this Eagle Rider, and but I pay a monthly fee, and for that you're supposed to get a free day or something. I must have 30 free days, but I think they just discounted or so. I have no idea. Anyway, we've decided on a couple of road trips then for the 2 days when we have the Harleys, and one we're going to Red Rock Canyon, which is beautiful.
Oh,
On the
wow.
if have you seen it? Have you been there by
Oh, yeah.
chance?
Oh, yeah.
It's just
No, well, it
gorgeous.
depends on what I haven't been to Red Rock Canyon,
It's a
but
whole
I've been to
it's
Red
Red Rock
Rocks.
Canyon National Park. It's called Red Rocks is in
Alright.
Colorado.
I know,
And
I know.
that's where I've seen
I'm
it.
being
Anyway,
funny. No, I have been to the
you
one in Nevada. I'm
are a
just being
funny
silly.
man. Anyway, I
I am a
have
funny
too,
man.
but you're not. So we're taking the Harleys there one day and
Dick.
hitting hitting a casino on the way back. And the next day we were thinking maybe Hoover Dam. I've been there 3 or 4 times though, so I'm not that excited. My alternate was to on Wednesday, if they don't want to do Hoover, is to go to a place called Prim. Have you ever been to Prim?
I've been to Prim. Yep.
So you've met my buddy Matt. He said we
Mhm.
should go out to Prim.
You
It's
told
like
He
half an
told us that
hour.
story.
Yeah, half an hour outside of town. So an hour and a half later, we finally get to Prim, and it's this weird town. It's just odd. There's a casino on one side of the road and a casino on the other side of the interstate. And there's a roller coaster that connects them, and it's just kind of an odd place. There is a restaurant that I've found that we're going to hit called Prim and Proper, of course,
Hmm.
and uh, also there is the Bonnie and Clyde death car.
You Oh, really? They actually have the real one?
They have the actual car, and it's called the Bonnie and Clyde death car. It's
That's
on Google
awesome.
Maps. It's highlighted, and it's yeah. So we're gonna hit that, and then there's a on the way back. There's a place called
Mhm.
Terrible's casino and something or
Oh, I
other.
thought it was
And
the brothel that you were going to.
nope, not going to a brothel. Taking my wife. Thanks, though.
So?
Trying to get me in
Did you
trouble. Oh,
not see
good idea.
that HBO series where they actually showed people that were going to some of the Las Vegas or the Nevada brothels, and
No,
there were couples that went. It was crazy.
I would imagine that there are couples that go to gentlemen's clubs and
Mhm.
all of that. I guess that's not something that
It's not my
I've
bag either.
done. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Moving on. So,
It's
it's
sort of
hard
like
to
taking,
segue from
sort of
that.
like take. No, it's like taking sand to the beach, sort of. Um, so, so there's our
I
segue.
just
Speaking
don't
of the
like that, and
beach,
I don't like that analogy.
speaking of the beach,
Yeah.
we're doing a weekend in Florida coming up soon too. So
Jeez, you're
to see,
traveling
well, no,
everywhere.
to see my kid and granddaughter, and
Oh, you're really
yeah,
going down to see the progress of your house.
where the house is zero progress. We will walk the land that's empty, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Look for
it's gonna
snakes
be.
and alligators.
I'm hoping there will. I may take my gun though. Yeah. Now that you mentioned that,
Wow.
yeah. So
How big a plot of land did you buy?
about a third of an acre, and
Oh,
we're
okay.
trying to see if we can buy the two on either side as well,
Nice.
because it's wooded right now, and we wouldn't do anything with those two, but it
Sure.
would be kind of nice to manage how close people
Yeah.
are, because everybody's building now because the house prices are ridiculous.
Well, like our good friend that you and I both have, one of his favorite sayings, with enough time and money, you can do anything you want.
I guess that's true.
Emphasis on the money part, I'm sure, for
Yeah, I was
this
going to say,
venture.
I don't really need that much time.
No.
When you have the money, you can pretty
Right.
much do, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just don't have the money.
I think, but you're made of time. Is that what you're saying?
I am made of a lot of time.
I prefer rosemary.
Wow.
Sorry.
I think
I
this
love
this
rosemary on
it is very, very
smoked
good. I
pork.
love
Oh, smoked pork.
yeah. Have you ever had it in so there's a place in Napa.
Been
It's
there.
it's very famous. He's got the store, but then he's got a restaurant right next door, and it's the original store, but the store is famous everywhere. Like they have them in malls, and you can get
Oh.
the magazine or
Oh boy.
I can't think of it. It's like Napa Style or something like that.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a restaurant tied to the original store. It's a very famous chef, and they have a gin and tonic
Hmm.
that is incredible, and it has gin and tonic, obviously, but it also has juniper berries,
Oh,
dried juniper berries, and
rosemary.
rosemary,
Yeah.
and it
Wow.
is to die for.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I grow rosemary in the summer is just so I can make gin and
I
tonics with rosemary.
I would put it, oh gosh, rosemary is one of those that I will always have with, it's great with lamb. It's great with pork. I'm just a big fan.
Have you ever done dill with mashed potatoes?
No, but I've done it with carrots.
I just did some with mashed potatoes the other day. It was a little bit of dill.
Mhm.
They were garlic mashed potatoes, so there was plenty
Yummy.
of garlic in there,
Yummy.
and sour cream and all the fixins, and
Yeah.
it was incredible.
Dill was
Like
really good.
I was,
Fresh
yeah,
dill?
yeah,
Fresh
it was
dill?
fresh dill, yeah, and I would go beyond pleasantly surprised.
Good.
Now I'm craving it. That's how good
Wow.
it was. Yeah.
Okay. I made jambalaya the other night.
Did you really?
It was delicious.
It was
Weird.
northern.
Was that?
Northern.
No, it was.
It had crayfish instead of crawfish.
No, it didn't. It had shrimp.
Okay.
Yeah. If you did it the southern way, you can do crawfish, as you wouldn't say crayfish. Yeah,
You would
you're
up
right.
there.
Sadly,
Yeah.
but I
No,
know, I
yeah.
know. It's the same people that say, "You from New Orleans?" Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
you mean New Orleans?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm from New Orleans.
That's just south of Louisville.
Oh gosh, yeah, Louisville. I spoke there was a car show, the New Orleans car show, many years ago, and it was actually held at the Superdome, which was kind of cool.
That is cool.
And I did some training for a group of was it the New Orleans or Louisiana? Anyway, the Auto Dealers Association. They asked me to come and speak, and I did. And I said, so if someone calls you and they're interested in a vehicle, let's say they're from Metairie, and some guy raises his hand and goes, are you from here? And I said, no. I said, why do you ask? He says, nobody knows how to pronounce Metairie. And if you look at it, it's just on the other side of Lake Pontchartrain, which they can't usually say either from the city. And it's like Metaire or something like that.
Yeah.
And anyway,
Yeah.
so
every state, every city has their own. It's like when I was growing up, it was Ponce de Leon. That's how we learned how to say that.
Ponce de Leon. Yeah.
Yeah. And you go to Atlanta and there's a street called Ponce de Leon.
Oh, wait. Texas, and we lived in Houston for a while. Mm-hmm. There was a town and a street and S-A-N, and the second part was Jacinto. San Jacinto is what I would say.
Yeah.
And it's San Jacinto.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, seriously? It's not that. That's not how you say it.
It's like
Yeah.
George spelled with a J. Is it George or is it Jorge? And it just depends. It is Jorge.
That was my name in Spanish class.
Really? What was it?
Jorge.
See,
Jorge.
I took German, obviously.
Obviously,
And my
you're
name is Max.
14% German. Yeah, why not?
Exactly.
Max.
Max.
Wow. Yeah, I took Norwegian.
You know what?
I'm about the same amount Norwegian.
Are you?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more, but I'm not. Anywho, I didn't even get to tell my story about the horrible drivers that are out now because, COVID in Nashville or in Tennessee, COVID's on its way out. So everyone's going back to work.
Yep.
And when I went to go help Jen, traffic was shitty, which I haven't experienced in the last year. Oh, it was horrible.
Well,
I haven't experienced that in a year.
From the farmer's
10 minutes
market.
from her, and it took me 15 minutes to get there because traffic was horrific.
Was so there many people traffic report on the radio?
What's a radio? Is that on Spotify?
Traffic report. Oh, there's a 30-second delay getting to the farmer's market.
There is. Yep.
This is terrible traffic.
Yep. Getting dinner was worse.
Was it?
Yep. I had to go to Panera. The line was
to the
horrendous.
Farmer's market. It
was closed by the time I got there.
Flying in the air still with all the
true.
Hey, here's some dill.
All that was left when I got there were strawberries. But speaking of flying things, if you would fly up to PoddiMouths.com and check out some of our social media outlets there and some of our past episodes, we would be very appreciative. Or if you'd head up to YouTube and can see us as we're chatting away, and you probably don't want to see us. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's wow. Just wow. Just wow. Your teeth are so white and they're so perfect.
I'm trying to do a Newton Cara thing.
Yeah, it's her smile is just massive. The fun one when we were introduced to them, I don't know if you've gone that far back, was when they were in the Netherlands. I would highly recommend going back and watching those, especially when they go to the cheese factory.
Oh, cool.
So anyone that wants to watch Karen Nate, they're also on YouTube where you can find our YouTube channel. So check us out, check them out because they're awesome. Yep. And maybe someday we can have them on the podcast. I doubt it. Or maybe someday we'll be featured on their vlog. I doubt that as well, but you never know. I don't think they've traveled to Wisconsin yet, so you have a chance. I think, though, they've traveled to Tennessee before. Since they were born here and raised here. Yeah, I know. They're never coming back. Anyway, everyone, I hope you have a fantastic week. You know what? Yes. Please share some stories with us because we're getting tired of hearing each other talk.
We are not. I love your.
I know. I'm trying. John, I'm trying to market. I'm trying to market here.
You're really good.
I'm really good at marketing. I'm shitty at sales. And on that note, click the like and subscribe button so we can sell some shit.
Do it.
Some shit.
See, I know you've had a drink.
Some shit. Only one. And I ate my cherry. See that? I ate my cherry. It's
you sure did. Well done.
Anyway.
Can you tie that in a knot?
I can't.
The stem? Come on.
I should try.
Maybe our next episode.
Well, it'd be the whole episode me going.
How's that any different from normal?
Good point. On that note, have a great week, everyone. See ya.
See ya.